This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, good morning. It's First Alert Weather Breakdown time. Not only that, it is Friday. I always consider the best of episodes on First Alert Weather Breakdown the last of the work week. We saved the best for last. It's Friday. Welcome on in close to the weekend. Again, I am meteorologist Evan Thomason. Thank you very much for joining us on KSLA News, on KSLA.com, or whatever stream you happen to be watching this on, or on our YouTube page as well. You can feel free to watch on any of those platforms, although we'll say YouTube is the way you can actually chat with me live. If you have any comments, questions, things of that nature, just want to say happy Friday, feel free to stop on in and come on in and do that. We are hanging around with beautiful sunshine and blue skies here for the day today. But I think with this first alert with a breakdown, I'm breaking down two things. For those of you that came because we sent that push alert to your phone. That's the main two things we're talking about here for the day today. In our local forecast, we're going over rain. Rain looks to be a little more of a prominent factor in our forecast, actually, moving on throughout the next 7 days. Now, that thankfully that does not include today, and that does not include here the weekend, which is good. But next week could have some issues when it comes to some rain. And the second thing is we're going over your football forecast for you in store. Here's the list written out for you. Again, sunny weekend, beautiful weekend, but we want to keep you first alert about what's going on with the rain chances here for next work week coming up, because this past week has been nice and sunny here overall. The previous work week before this week was also nice, sunny, and dry, but then next week we could run and change the pattern a little bit to give us a little bit of some rain back into the equation. Now, how does that affect the temperatures? You also have to wait to find that out on our full local forecast. And then again, we have our football forecast for you in store, as we do every Friday. I think that's, I don't know. That's why I'm giddy. As I said, we save the best for last. I love our exclusive content and for football and for Friday to go over the forecast for all your favorite local ArkLaTex teams. All right, so let's hop on into it. Let's hopefully, before we even get to the forecast, just one more thing real quick. I'm hoping for some bits of fall to come in, all right? It's October now. 90 degrees in October it's not fall. I hope it's not fall to you, but the point is I want to get fall weather back into the ArkLaTex. I know many people have come up to me in person and been like, where's the fall weather at? I'm ready for summer to be over. You're one of those people? Well, hopefully this forecast will present some good news to us. We'll see, and we'll keep you first alert. All right, so here is a look at the Window World Sky Cam out in the Texarkana. Beautiful day. Wow, not much in terms of cloud cover at all here for the day today. So that's nice and pretty here for your Friday as I gain control of my weather graphics. There we go. Also, live looking at John Harvey Toyota Skycam there in Bossier City. Plentiful sunshine, blue skies, and not a drop of rain here for the day today. That's our biggest change here between yesterday to today. Yesterday, we had a few stray showers out and around that ended up happening mainly south of I-20. But still a couple stray showers even, I think, happened in the areas of southwestern Arkansas, too. Temperatures currently upper 70s already. 79 in Natchitoches, 79 in Shreveport, 78 in Mount Pleasant. For your weather headlines, it's all about, again, the sunshine coming back out here for the day today. Now, obviously, there was tons of sunshine out yesterday, yes. But the point is we have fully dry conditions. We have completely eliminated the rain chance here for your Friday, and guess what? That's going to stem on into your weekend too. Now, temperatures have not changed over what seems like a week now, and over the next couple days, it is still going to continue to stay hot. But we do want to keep you, again, first alert about the chance of storms returning back here next work week to try to change up the pattern around here, at least just a little bit. We'll see how that affects the temperatures also a little bit, kind of leave that as a little bit of a surprise then for next week, too. All right, 79 right now in Shreveport, 77 for Texarkana, 79 into Natchitoches. Actual temperature of 81 in Nacogdoches, but feels like temperature's around 84. Feels like temperature around 81 in Shreveport. What this indicates to me, again, is that since the actual temperatures are very, very close to the feels like temperatures, the humidity still on the lower end of things here for the day today, which is good and doesn't add as much weight on top of our temperatures here for the day today. But that will look to change, believe it or not, further on into this forecast. Highs today, getting up to 91 in Texarkana, 90 in Foreman, 90 in DeKalb, 91 in New Boston, East Texas, 89 in Marshall, 90 in Nacogdoches, 89 in Mount Pleasant. Just so you know, these are pretty similar, if not the same, to yesterday's highs. 90 in Shreveport, 87 in Bienville, 89 for Natchitoches. For feels like temperatures, pretty much right around the same mark. Again, because we don't have much humidity taxing on top of the actual temperatures here for the day today. But I also want to stress that this is a repetitive pattern. We've had this over the past week or so where high temperatures have been stuck around 90 degrees. It continues still through this weekend. It's honestly quite impressive how long of a streak our temperatures have just continued to really not change drastically over the past couple days. We did have a cloudy day, I think back on Tuesday, but that didn't really do much. It put, I think I limited our highs to upper 80s only in for Tuesday, if that. It was, the point is, it has still been hot here into early October, now the third day of October. Temperatures, at least for the morning, I will say, getting down into the 60s. You still might need a light jacket. The 60s for mornings looks to continue at least through Saturday and Sunday morning. That is one thing that's going to look to change in the temperatures for early next week, is that our mornings for early next week will probably be getting more on the mild and warmer side of things. We're talking more lower 70s in store for a good portion of the ArkLaTex and upper 60s. Muggy meter. This is one of the changes for the temperatures that I'm going to find more relevant here over the next couple of days. For the next 3 days or so, it remains kind of at the low to medium level, in between that muggy and comfortable level here between now and Sunday. But watch out for early next week. Check this out between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Yes, most of next work week, the humidity picks up a lot, almost getting back into that oppressive summer level humidity. And guess what? I still have highs in the upper 80s and lower 90s for next week, which means we could be, I would not even be shocked to see heat alerts come back here next week, which is kind of surprising as we head into further on into October. But the thing of which I'm trying to get to you at is that the heat could get, yes, worse in store for early next week, believe it or not. So look out for you then. I will say the muggy meter, the reason it is increasing is because we are getting Gulf air, essentially air from the south, from the Gulf, all that moisture. It's picking up the humidity here for next week, and it's also giving us our chance for storms. So let's get into the storm aspect of it now and see what we're dealing with here on that front. This is a current look at the first alert Doppler radar. Let me move this around for you. First of all, locally, nothing. You're having ample sunshine here for the day today. You're not worried about rain at all for Friday whatsoever. In fact, this is a national look at the radar. If you're traveling, even out today, towards Dallas, up in Arkansas, over towards Mississippi, it is a nice, lovely day. All the storm activity is in the Gulf. It's situating on the boat, so as long as you're not boating out for today, or you know anybody that's boating out for today, it should be just fine. I will say some of these showers are trying to catch on to the very southern edge of the Louisiana Bayou, even south of New Orleans. That's the real bayou around down there. The point is, though, this is trying to slowly move northward, and we're going to be watching out for this huge system of showers because it's going to slowly meander onshore over the next couple of days, believe it or not. And this rain down here is our next chance for showers here in the ArkLaTex for early next week, which has even caught the attention of our tropics graphics. Now, this is, let me hide my face here for you. In fact, I forgot to change this. This is supposed to be, this area of interest out in the Atlantic is supposed to be a 40% chance, not 30. I keep forgetting to change that. That's my fault. But essentially, you get the point. About a medium risk of formation for an area of interest that is way out in the Atlantic. Expected to form there somewhere in the next 5 days or so. So still long way out to track this system out, but we're looking at this system a little closer to home now. It only has a 10% chance of forming, and that is good because obviously it's most likely not going to form. But what I do want to get at from this area of interest, though, is that it's a huge wave of tropical moisture, as we just saw in that first alert Doppler radar picture. Huge wave of tropical moisture that the National Hurricane Center is just recognizing that's there. It's a huge cluster of rain piled in on itself, essentially. Again, because it's only got a 10% chance of formation, I'm not expecting the system to be named by any means, or that we have huge tropical impacts coming into onshore on Louisiana or even into the ArkLaTex next week. But essentially, again, it's just a huge rainmaker that could be giving us a little bit of some rain trouble next week. Let's get into our future tracks here. This is the short-term future track, which goes over the next 3 days here for you. Again, for the day today, nice and dry. The rain chance from yesterday is pretty much cut off. We don't have rain at all for your Friday, let alone for the weekend. Check this out. Saturday, looking nice and dry. Same thing for Sunday for the most part. Check this out. Sunday, all the way through midday, I still don't see anything, but I'm going to actually hide my face here for you to get you to see what I want you to see here. Watch out for the little specks of storm, a little bit of moisture coming out of, again, Mississippi and southern Louisiana. As I just discussed, our rain early next week is going to be coming from the Gulf. And believe it or not, some of this is going to be reaching out towards northeast Louisiana, towards the ArkLaTex, out towards Monroe, Jackson, dealing with maybe some spotty storms there for your Sunday afternoon. This is not going to be hitting the ArkLaTex for Sunday afternoon. So if you still have any afternoon plans, and for the tail end of the weekend, those are still looking good here locally at this point in time. But what I'm trying to get at is these storms are going to be rolling in from the east, coming in west into the ArkLaTex. And believe it or not, Sunday late night, you could be dealing with some spotty storms in the very, very tail end of the weekend. So I have a 0% chance of rain on for Sunday itself, but even again, as Sunday night plans, they might deal with just a spotty storm or two before that looks to fade away for the end of Sunday. But what we're trying to get at is we're getting in some moisture here, it looks like. That's going to start late on Sunday, and this is going to mainly trickle in here for Monday. That's what we're watching out for, and that's what we're keeping your first alert. Here's the long-range future track where we can just track onto that big bundle of moisture itself, onto where it's going and kind of its movement and how it goes into the ArkLaTex. So you see Shreveport from this point of view on the long-range future track, but this whole cluster of storms stays here through Saturday and also through Sunday as well. Sunday all the way midday. I mean, New Orleans is going to have an absolute rainy weekend down there in the bayou pretty much all weekend long. Same thing with the beaches of Mississippi and Alabama. But the point is, this stays on the coastline. Good amount of rain totals located along the coastline of, again, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, but none of it rolls northward into the ArkLaTex through the weekend. Again, we keep our weekend nice and dry since all that rain sits off to our south. Then it gets pulled up northward into the region here. And again, most of that's going to come into fruition around here for Monday. Now, I will say most of that future track holds the majority of the rain showers out into our northwest Louisiana parishes. But once we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, it looks like we got more rain issues for everybody around the region. But I will say, this doesn't look ever like a full blanket of rain around the ArkLaTex as I go slowly through the future track. It's looking like just a couple spotty storms here and there throughout the region. But the thing is, we have that chance of storms every single day for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Multiple days. Remember, our rain chance yesterday just lasted one day and barely gave us any bits of showers at all. This is a system that could be stuck with us, yes, all the way through Thursday of next week. So we've been having a nice, dry, sunny period of time for the past 2 to 3 days. Not 2 to 3 days. I meant to say 2 to 3 weeks. And that's left our temperatures kind of go free going, essentially, in the upper 80s and lower 90s. But this is what we kind of need in order to change the temperatures at all around here, is rain. And the fact that we have an extended period of time along with the rain showers could mean good news, at least to our temperatures. So trying to look on the, I guess, better news of things. I know rain could impact your plans essentially early next week. I will say one thing before I get into the other forecasts here. There are other future tracks, long-range future tracks, which are not as convinced that we're going to get as much rain as what's been shown on this future track here for you, where it just has us getting a day or two of rain between Monday and Wednesday, maybe, and then other days, but in that range from Monday to Wednesday, are just completely dry. So essentially what I'm trying to get is there are a few weather models that are disagreeing with this, which indicates to us uncertainty. We are uncertain kind of if rain is going to play out in these areas. And there's actually a little bit of argument to that as well. In a way, the high-pressure system that's still on top of us here today, giving us dry conditions, that high-pressure system might still be on top of us early next week, which essentially, whenever you have high pressure still on top of you, it usually doesn't mean any rain still located here at all. So we'll see what happens. Essentially, we have contradicting things happening, but there are future tracks trying to give us rain here early next week. Just the chance for the rain remains low. We'll look at that further on in the 7-day forecast coming on up. I do have the football forecast for you coming on up. That's actually for our exclusive content after we finish the local forecast. I got 2 more graphics here before we get into football forecast here for you. Again, Saturday and Sunday, rain-free. That I am sure of, except for Sunday night. Sunday night, especially across pretty much only areas of northwest Louisiana. I'm mainly looking down towards Natchitoches only. I would be surprised even if Shreveport got rain for Sunday night. But essentially, we're rain-free here through the entire weekend. The only tiny exception to that is Sunday night in for areas around Natchitoches. That's pretty much it. Enjoy pretty much any outdoor plans you got. With still, again, highs, upper 80s, lower 90s. Still a pool weekend here in the first weekend of October. Let's see. We're seeing how long we keep the streak going, honestly. It might not last into the weekend after this weekend. That's because of the 7-day forecast here for you. 90 degrees today, no chance of rain. That forecast is pretty much copy and pasted all the way through Sunday here for the most part, besides that little chance of rain Sunday night in Natchitoches. But that leads into the influx of moisture that makes things a lot more humid around here. Not only is it going to be hot, look at the temperatures on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Despite the chance of being storms, despite the chance of storms being around on each of those 3 days, look at the high temperatures. They still don't really move much in the grand scheme of things. Still upper 80s and lower 90s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And when you're adding humidity on top of that, as we kind of discussed earlier, you could lead to some heat alerts here around here and some very hot days on top of those little storms that could spark in for the afternoon hours between Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Things look to mostly dry out, hopefully by Thursday and Friday, late next week. But as a result, once we actually get some moisture out of here, temperatures could actually be down to 84 degrees for a high temperature. Maybe. I'm maybe holding out for that. We'll see. I'm not fully convinced of the cool down late next week. It's also gonna depend on how much rain we exactly get in here for early next week. But it is at least a promising sign, and it's a sign, period. We haven't had a cooling sign at all within the past week of anything changing around here temperature-wise. So we'll take it, at least still for the next 5 to 6 days, though. Again, it still remains hot. Highs are still stuck in the upper 80s and lower 90s, but I will say our 12-day forecast does look to also feature high temperatures that are only in the 80s. So it could be a slow trending sign towards fall. I sure hope so. I made a social media post where I was like, please wake me up whenever the fall temperatures are sure here, because when that finally happens, I know I'm giddy and happy enough that it's Friday, but when those fall temperatures come around, you betcha I'm going to be a big cheerleader on this podcast and on air to you, all right? All right, that was a full look at your local forecast. Coming up next, stick around. We're not done. We have our exclusive content here for today, which on Fridays and fall is all about football. We're going to go over the ArkLaTex football forecast for those playing at the high school, college, and NFL levels around here for this coming weekend for the first weekend of October. We'll be right back after this. Stick around. Just a 2-minute break. Welcome back into the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. Thank you for joining me here for the day today. Guess what it's time for? It's Friday. We're in fall. Time for the football forecast here for today. This is our exclusive content. We go into like one or two of these forecasts on air, but we usually don't have enough time to go over everything. And a few of these games are, a little obscure, a little far-fetched. For example, the Cowboys are in New Jersey this weekend, and I don't know. It's like kind of like, who cares about the New Jersey? It's not enough for it to go on air is my point. It's not important enough to talk about New Jersey weather in the actual on-air shows. But on this podcast, heck yeah, we will absolutely talk about the forecast for even away games for the Dallas Cowboys and New Orleans Saints. For this week of football forecast, I will say, I'm not going to lie to you. It's a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Not bland. It's a little lackluster, I guess, so to speak. And the only reason for that is because many of our college ArkLaTex teams are on bye this week, which means they do not play. They are just off for this weekend. I had to double check and make sure that I wasn't missing any games or any teams at all this week, but here's the list of how many local college ArkLaTex teams that are on bye this week. Grambling is on bye. LA Tech also on bye week this week. LSU is also on bye week this week, and so is Arkansas. All four of those college teams, which are 4 out of the 6 colleges we cover here on the First Alert Weather Breakdown football forecast, 4 out of the 6 college teams are all on bye week this weekend, which is immensely weird and impressive in the same boat. We still go over high school forecasts here. Again, we have your Cowboys and Saints forecast as well. This is the first week of NFL bye weeks as well. For example, I think the Falcons and I think the Steelers are on bye week this week in the NFL. I think in addition to the Packers too. I don't know any other teams. But the point is Cowboys and Saints are not on bye week. They do have games this weekend at noon. So we'll go over those two games. We'll go over the 2 colleges that do have games for the ArkLaTex. And then we'll starting with first high school. High school football forecast here for tonight in the ArkLaTex. Here for your Friday night is looking lovely. 70s, no chance of rain and light winds. This is about what the forecast pretty much was last weekend. Perfect, just about perfect. I will say for the players, it could be on the little cooler side of things in the 60s, help you cool down a little bit. But for the fans, for the viewers, 70s is going to be optimal, perfect. Again, not a drop of rain at all. It is going to be great. I know highs, again, get into the upper 80s and lower 90s, but because that sunset time is just a little bit earlier in the day now, we're getting a little bit later into the season, makes things nice here for your Friday night. All right, let's look at high school. That's looking great. Now to our 2 college teams who are playing this week. First, Northwestern State has, believe it or not, I'll be a little more of a fan football analyst here for these college and NFL games. Northwestern State has this is only their second home game of the entire year so far, believe it or not. Their first home game was back, I believe, on the last day of August. They haven't had a home game in over a month. Been away for a while. I think they were on bye week as well, followed by 3 road games, which was a weird portion of their schedule. But the point is they are back home for this weekend. I think it's their homecoming weekend as well. So go Demons. It'll be a fantastic weekend out in Natchitoches here for your Saturday night. Game time starts at 6 p.m., and that's going to be fantastic because, again, Saturday is almost like a carbon copy of Friday as well. Look at the temperatures. Mid-80s, maybe a little toasty still for warm-ups, but as we get into that game, temperatures will be in the 70s. Again, still no chance of rain here locally. That is going to be a fantastic game for the homecoming. Again, they're taking on the East Texas A&M Lions. NSU 1-1 in FCS conference play. We don't talk about the 2 FBS teams they played against on the road. So good luck to them as they open, I believe, Southland Conference play. I think they have this home game, and then they're on the road next weekend. Other college team, ArkLaTex team. We'll talk about Stephen F. Austin from Nacogdoches. They've had 2 home games in a row over the past 2 weekends. They are back on the road, though, for this coming weekend. They will be traveling to San Antonio to take on Incarnate Word in the FCS. Conditions look still favorable. They're around, I believe that is, no, it's an outdoor stadium. I was about to say the Alamodome. No, they play in an outdoor stadium. Not really a chance of rain. Maybe one brief shower at the end of regulation, 10% rain chance. It will be a little hot. Temperatures will be in the 80s. But even then, that's still not 90s. No, I will say kickoff time, still around 90 degrees. But should be a nice, fantastic game with dry conditions around there. All right, lastly, NFL. The Dallas Cowboys are back on the road this weekend. They are playing at East Rutherford, New Jersey in MetLife Stadium, but they are not taking on the Giants. Instead, they are taking on the New York Jets this weekend against Justin Fields. The 0-4 Jets against the 1-2-1 Cowboys. That's a very interesting, peculiar record that you have there. If it wasn't obvious, I'm not a Cowboys fan. But anyways, Cowboys-Jets will be an interesting matchup. Plenty of sunshine on MetLife here for this weekend, and temperatures comfortable. Upper 70s, lower 80s, touch on the warm side of things, but nothing, no harm, no foul. Lastly, I think we get to the most intriguing forecast of all because it features rain. Giants are at the New Orleans Saints. Saints are back home this weekend. A noon Sunday kickoff. Again, they are taking on the New York Giants from East Rutherford, New Jersey. They're coming into the Superdome, and obviously the Superdome is a dome, so there won't be any rain, obviously, on the dome. But this is the reason we do these forecasts, because kickoff and into regulation, you are dealing with storms, and it's almost like widespread storms, too. It is going to be a mess down to the Big Easy here for not just Sunday, but also Saturday, too. It's going to be a wet weekend down there. So if you're headed down to the game itself, bring some rain gear. Bring some umbrellas heading out to the game, and you're going to need to open it up at the end of the game as well. Temperatures at least will be on the comfortable side of things with all the rain around, but it'll be a mess traveling to and from and dealing with that walk to the Superdome as well, unless you're parking in that I've been Superdome plenty of times. Unless you're parking literally in that parking garage that's associated with the dome itself. That would be nice, actually, with that kind of a rainy day. All right, let's look at your full football. Let's look at your full football forecast. There we go. It's Friday. Thank you very much for joining us. That's all I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Again, all the other 4 teams, college teams on by, will be back in action next weekend. Get to stay tuned for that. Anyways, have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Plenty of sunshine around the ArkLaTex. We got rain chances building back in here for next week. We'll examine that first thing Monday. We'll have our next episode of First Look with a breakdown at 10:30 on Monday to kind of situate which days next week are going to have more rain chances than others. It's lots of uncertainty what's going on with the rain showers and rain coverage overall for next work week. We'll see, and we'll keep you first alert. As for today, again, enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the sunshine for the weekend. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll be back on Monday. I believe CJ Cartledge should be your host then at 10:30 on Monday. Be there, be square. Most importantly, stay weather aware. Have a fantastic Friday and a great weekend, and I'll see you later.